Hey all. Gosh, improvising these episodes is a real chore. Not sure I like it at all. No, I don't like it at all. And this week I've just decided to take a break while I mull over the theme I was going to go on about and share a piece that I made 8 years ago, uploaded to a different channel. And looking back at it, I found it interesting to share with you all. This video that you're about to see or listen to if you're just on the podcast, but the images in the video are kind of fun, so go see the YouTube video. Well, this video you're about to see or listen to was made as part of my Trump Talk series that involves some essays and 3 or 4 videos. In this one, called Setting Standards, I'm on about how the guy at the top tends to set the standards for everyone below him, somehow subtly manipulating our freedom to speak. I'll let you watch or listen to the video and come back on the other side to make some comments that might bring the theme up to current events.
No, I honestly feel like we are living in 2 different worlds. The rules and the scrutiny that James Comey, and to be honest, anyone in the government is put under, is not the same scrutiny that the president is put under. You know, it's an interesting parallel to see that, essentially, going back to what you're saying with comedy and even with Comey, we're all living with a certain set of rules.
Yeah.
In Donald Trump's world, gravity and honesty does not apply.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
There seems to be a standard expected of the President of the United States.
Tweets like this are inconsistent with the greatness of the country and the office.
And yet, it seems that the current president has a different view on what should be presidential.
In the evening brought us, my use of social media is not presidential, it's modern day presidential. Make America great again.
So keeping in mind that the president himself seems to be defining the adjective presidential and setting standards for just what is and is not presidential, listen again to Trevor's comment.
We're all living with a certain set of rules.
Yeah.
In Donald Trump's world, gravity and honesty does not apply.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
This can be clearly seen in the statements made by representatives of the White House. First, let's hear their defense of the president.
Look, I don't think that the president's ever been someone who gets attacked and doesn't push back. There have been an outrageous number of personal attacks, not just to him, but to, frankly, everyone around him. People on that show have personally attacked me many times. This is a president who fights fire with fire and certainly will not be allowed to be bullied by liberal media and the liberal elites within the media or Hollywood or anywhere else.
I endorse the president's right to fight back when he is being mercilessly attacked and when the airwaves are filled with raw sewage about him and his fitness for office.
And I think he's been very clear that when he gets attacked, he's going to hit back. I think the American people elected somebody who's tough, who's smart, and who's a fighter, and that's Donald Trump. And I don't think that it's a surprise to anybody that he fights fire with fire.
So, it seems that it is Mr. Trump's right to lash out at those who have said mean things about him. Others, though, seem to have a different view on the standards of behavior expected of the President of the United States.
Deep down, everyone kind of knows, no matter what's going on in their personal life, no matter what their behavior is like, whatever their dysfunctions are, they kind of know when you're president of the United States, you ought to behave better. Yeah. You ought to try to be some kind of a role model. You're representing the greatest nation on earth. Behave yourself. They would understand that.
Even Ms. Sanders and Ms. Conway assert employing higher standards concerning reacting to ugly comments.
And I asked you about that back in August. Look,
So what changed for you, and do you stand by those comments?
I do, and the reason is I don't like when people hurl personal insults. That will never change. That's not my style. I'm a mother of 4 small children. It'd be a terrible example for me to feel otherwise. But I don't fight. I don't respond in kind, because I'm here as a public servant trying to help people, and I swallowed a lot of bile over the time because I don't want this to be about me.
I'm a woman, and I've been attacked by this show multiple times, but I don't cry foul because of it. Look, I've been asked before when it comes to role models as a person of faith. I think we all have one perfect role model, and when I'm asked that question, I point to God, I point to my faith, and that's where I would tell my kids to look. None of us are perfect, and certainly there's only one that is, and that's where I would point that direction.
So, there is a separation of standards here. One set of standards are those that Ms. Conway and Sanders share, those of rising above the insults hurled and buckling down to do the job they have. The other is the special, modern presidential standard that allows Mr. Trump to react in a schoolyard fashion when he doesn't like what's been said about him.
It's embarrassing because it lacks class, and because it's not just unpresidential, it's not worthy of like high school student council presidents. There's such a double standard about this, honestly, about, as Kevin Corker pointed out, Trump himself mocked and ridiculed Obama for like walking the wrong way on the stairs.
Ms. Conway refers to the toxic nature of the discourse twice in one interview.
That's exactly what I'm saying to you, George, that the toxicity both ways, coming to the president, is terrible. And stop the personal invective. It's completely toxic, and it's completely counterproductive to connecting America with policy prescriptions that they need.
Though she corrected herself, her both ways slip does allow us to see that she is aware that Mr. Trump is participating in the toxicity. However, since there is a regular human being standard,
you may think that it's effective to tweet out a WWE video and get people excited about it. I don't think that's a very effective way to win an argument. It's a nanny boo-boo way to win an argument.
And the modern presidential standard.
Go ahead.
Sure. No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
Since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
you are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you
is
give us a
terrible.
chance
Let's
to
go.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's
categorically,
asking a question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No,
give
I'm
us
not
a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not
Go ahead.
appropriate.
We are expected to simply accept this presidential standard. Mr. Trump is the President of the United States. He has the bully pulpit. He is somehow above us. Ms. Conway is a public servant and tries to behave as such.
Because I'm here as a public servant trying to help people, and I swallowed a lot of bile over the time because I don't want this to be about me.
Did someone forget to tell both her and Mr. Trump that the president is a public servant as well?
Here's the confusing thing for me is, in America, I find a lot of the times people conflate freedom of speech as consequence-free.
Yeah.
But really, freedom of speech means that your government will not come after you.
That's right.
Maybe
There's no good comes out of people attacking the president's physical and mental states on national television every day.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said.
It's just not fair.
It's curious that both this video and another I made at the same time called Trump Sets the Tone, link where links are to be found, that James Comey comes up in terms of his being on the wrong side of the then and current president. I couldn't have known that name would be back in the news 8 years later. Or should I have? And in this video, it's comedian Trevor Noah, not Jimmy Kimmel, who is trying to give us lessons on both double standard setting and free speech. We must value our comedians. It is also telling that this video is mainly focused on the dichotomy in the making and breaking of the rules of the game. If you make fun of Obama's tan suit, that's okay. If you make fun of Chris Christie's weight or Ted Cruz's connection to the JFK shooting, well, that's okay too. But if you make fun of the person who is making fun of the disabled reporter, that's now possibly a terrorist activity. Go to the White House website and read the September 25th presidential action titled Countering Domestic Terrorism and Organized Political Violence. One of the commentators I included in this video points out the schoolyard nature of this modern presidential, the nanny boo-boo method, the your mother, answered by well, your mother, unfit for even high school senate. I know that in my student senate days, such a homonym-type argument was not tolerated. No, actually, not even considered by we the student officers. We were all trying to be grown-ups, not grade schoolers on the jungle gym. Now, of course, one is free to choose. Those two women who often spoke up for the president during his first season of the Trump administration reality show, Ms. Conway and Ms. Sanders, were quick and concise in pointing this out, while defending the president's right to fight fire with fire, to not be bullied. They were also behaving, as is often the case in women, as mature people, pointing out that they refuse to engage, that they consider such banter to be beneath the dignity of being a human being, a God-loving Christian. All this is well and good, and I continue to be heartened by Trevor Noah's remarks that highlight the difference of how free speech does not mean that you can say whatever you want to without having to face consequences, but rather that you can say whatever you want without fear your government will come after you for having said it. Which brings me to today's reading of Presidential Actions.
Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship. The White House, January 20th, 2025.
By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America and Section 301 of Title III United States Code, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1. Purpose. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution, an amendment essential to the success of our republic, enshrines the right of the American people to speak freely in the public square without government interference. Over the last 4 years, the previous administration trampled free speech rights by censoring American speech on online platforms, often by exerting substantial coercive pressure on third parties, such as social media companies, to moderate, deplatform, or otherwise suppress speech that the federal government did not approve. Under the guise of combating misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, the federal government infringed on the constitutionally protected speech rights of American citizens across the United States in a manner that advanced the government's preferred narrative about significant matters of public debate. Government censorship of speech is intolerable in a free society. Section 2. Policy. It is the policy of the United States to A. Secure the right of the American people to engage in constitutionally protected speech. B. Ensure that no federal government officer, employee, or agent engages in or facilitates any conduct that would unconstitutionally abridge the free speech of any American citizen. C. Ensure that no taxpayer resources are used to engage in or facilitate any conduct that would unconstitutionally abridge the free speech of any American citizen. And D. Identify and take appropriate action to correct past misconduct by the federal government related to censorship of protected speech. Section 3. Ending censorship of protected speech. A. No federal department, agency, entity, officer, employee, or agent may act or use any federal resources in a manner contrary to Section 2 of this order. B. The Attorney General, in consultation with the heads of executive departments and agencies, shall investigate the activities of the federal government over the last 4 years that are inconsistent with the purposes and policies of this order, and prepare a report to be submitted to the President through the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, with recommendations for appropriate remedial actions to be taken based on the findings of the report. Gosh, the current president paid attention in English class when Mrs. Stilch explained the meaning of irony. That presidential action combined with real presidential actions based on modern presidential behavior is dripping all over my keyboard as I prepare this essay. That history professor I had back in high school, hell, the one who was in his last year of teaching, ready to retire in the spring, the one who kissed the Blarney Stone and served proudly defending the Constitution, and from whom I learned that students should always be given the answers to the test before the test, that man whose name I do not recall, who firmly believed that President Truman saved the lives of countless young men by dropping those 2 bombs, he was the one who most clearly explained to us sophomores just what the meaning of freedom was, that meaning to be applied to any of our freedoms as Americans. Freedom is the freedom to clench your fist and swing your arm around in the air. Freedom ends when your fist makes contact with another person. Speech should not be automatically considered harmful, especially not to a government. If speech is harmful to a person, to a people, then he or she who executes that speech is not automatically enjoying freedom of speech. Rather, they are potentially abusing that freedom. The system gives us methods and protocols to decide upon that harm. The interference with free speech that the presidential action refers to was rightly adjudicated and decided. The Biden administration seems to have crossed the line. Their fist made contact with the tender nose of free speech. And that should have been the end of the story. Seems like some don't think so. Thanks for listening. Remember,
listen, like, subscribe, and share.
Cheers.
You're listening to Radio Rebel.